Hello everybody, how you doing? We are back in Chadderton Cemetery, going up to Grinnikers later to film the second part of Oldhams, basically the people that built Oldhams graves. Now, if you watched the live that I did the other day, a very poor live, you'll know about this lady that I've been hunting for, Helen Bamford. I'm going to feature her in a video that I'm doing at Coppice Church. But just by chance, I actually found the grave. Now, Helen died at 33. I don't know where her husband was. He certainly wasn't in the picture. He was living somewhere else, which I'll reveal in the video. I'm wondering if Helen died not necessarily of a illness, but maybe of something else. I'll leave that to your own imagination. But this is the grave of her parents. Again, they'll get mentioned in the video. But William Forsyth was a cotton spinner. I'm lying, he wasn't a cotton spinner. He was a wine and gin merchant, wine and spirit merchant, if you like. And his wife is buried in here with him. Rabin, they lived on, what's it called, street in bloody thingy. The house was called Westholme. It was up in Coppice. I'll see if I can find it on the way home and film it for you. But they were from Shetland initially, but settled in Oldham. And yeah, buried alongside their daughter. Interesting that James isn't in the grave, which again backs up my theory. I'll mention it in the next video what I think's gone on. So here we've got the grave of Charles Thomas Taylor, at number 18 Queen's Road in Oldham. He died when he was 72. Now, he was the son of a pork butcher. Now, his father, Edmund, by the way, is on this side. It was his father's tomb first. So I don't know if Thomas has bought that for him, or whether his father was just a very wealthy man from being a pork butcher. But either way, he lived at Queen's Road as well. But yeah, Thomas, he started his tutorage, if you like, they call it, under an architect called Potts. And he went to school at the Oldham Lyceum. I think he went on a £50 scholarship. He became an accountant. He became an architect, recognised architect in 1888, and went on to build several buildings in Oldham that I believe are still around today. Now, this place isn't around anymore, but Robin Hill Public Baths, Dunbar Street in Oldham. He also built the wash house and infirmary, Oldham Workhouse. He built the Central Conservative Club on Union Street in Oldham. And what else did he do? The Conservative Club in Failsworth, and also the Doctor's House. Right, so here we've got the grave of Peter Schofield. Now, Peter Schofield was a master cotton spinner. And he owned Alma Mills, which is just off Ashton Road. Now, most of his life they lived on Coppice. He had a big fancy house. Can't remember the name of it. Glendale, I think it was called. I'll put the name in. But anyway, yeah, when he died, he was worth 40,000, which again was a considerable amount of money. Now, interestingly enough, Alma Mills, that was built by an architect called Joseph Stott. His brother was Abraham Stott, who was the father of Sidney Stott. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Sir Sidney Stott, who built quite a lot of prominent buildings around Oldham. But this is one of my favourite people, and this is Albert Butterworth. I feel a bit sorry for him actually, because his grave is it's not well tended. I think I'm going to pull them branches out. But Alfred, sorry, I keep calling him Albert, I've always done that. Alfred was a mill owner. He owned Glebe Mills. He was the first mill owner of Oldham to actually pay decent money to his mill workers. In fact, he was really unpopular with other mill owners because of that, because ultimately he was getting the best talent. What he also did is he worked out how to give people pension as well. So I think provided they worked for him for 20 years or something, he would make sure they had a pension to retire on. And he had a beautiful house which is still standing to this day, just near the old nunnery in Werneth. If I get 5 minutes on the way back, I'll film it and show it you. So here's an interesting one for you, everyone. Not too far actually, just across the way from John Platt, you've got the huge tomb of a man called Edmund Hartley. Now, Mr. Hartley lived on Edward Street, but Edmund, he was a machine manufacturer of Oldham. I think he was born in Rochdale, but came to live in Oldham as a very young man. Married a lady called Anne, lived very happily. Edmund, prominent member of society, died worth thousands and thousands of pounds. I'll see if I can find the actual figure and put it up for you. But interestingly enough, Edmund became Mayor of Oldham in 1869. The only thing that stopped him was unfortunately his death on the 28th of September 1870. Here, just up there, you've got the tomb of Alfred, who lived at Springbank, which is still up now. Here's Benjamin Lees. He had the house before Albert of Werneth. Born in 1834, died in 1868. He died young, 30, what we're saying, 34? Yeah, right, and it was 34 when he died, shocking. But he was a cotton spinner. For his early years, Benjamin, he died, now think about it, in 1868 he had a fortune of £60,000. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. His tomb is beautiful, look at the top of it. There are also many other people buried in here with him. Can't see Betsy in here, so I'm going to suggest that she's probably buried elsewhere. So everyone, this is a very, very, very interesting grave. This man was a wonderful man, held in high esteem around Oldham. He was Joshua Walmsley Radcliffe Esquire, was a JP, excuse me. He lived in Werneth Park. I've got a picture of his house, I'll put it in. They've demolished it now along with all the other ones. But he was actually married to Lucy Jane, who was the daughter of John Platt, who's buried over there, along with the other all the other Platts. But Joshua was the son of Josiah. Josiah, interestingly enough, was the man who shot James Platt to death purely by accident up on the mountains. But he also served as this particular chap. He did a lot of work for the Deaf and Dumb Society, child cruelty, and he was also Mayor of Oldham. I think he did 3 servings of Mayor of Oldham, which was matching what his father did. So yeah, a very interesting chap. Right, and then over here we've got a chap that I featured recently. Unfortunately, it's strange because I can't find a photograph of him, even though he was Oldham's premier photographer. Photographed all the mayors, all the prominent people of Oldham, and also Joseph the Blind Bellman, which is what they made the statue out. But this is Squire Knott. Now, he lived at Queen's Road, but his shop was on the corner of St Mary's, where the Squire Knott pub used to be. Hence, that's why it was called. Squire Knott did the famous Oldham panoramic photograph, which is on display at Oldham Art Gallery, but I'll put a picture in for you as well so that you can have a look. Now we're walking towards the grave of the first town clerk of Oldham. To give you an idea where it is, that's the little chapel, and it's these 3 gravestones that are here. The guy was called John Summerscales. He was, as I said, elected the first town clerk of Oldham. He was brought to power during a time when politics in Oldham was quite fraught. You had the Liberals, you had the Conservatives, You had the likes of John Platt on one side and James Platt, who were quite liberal, and then you had other sides. I can't remember exactly what went on, but there was an incident at the town hall where John Summerscales was sworn in, and I think there was a vote going on or something. Something were voted on, and it didn't turn out particularly well. I think there was a bit of a fracas with people outside screaming and shouting and that, because it was sort of forced through. I'm not too sure really. I've read the story before, but I've completely forgotten now. I'll try and put the detail in. But yeah, John Summerscales, he served Oldham for a number of years. I think he was around about 61 he was when he died. He died in 1868. Got a nice picture of him that you should be looking at. And this lady here, Elizabeth Jackson, that was his wife. I think she was married to somebody before. She was actually the daughter of Ralph and Hannah Jackson, which I think Ralph was the guy who owned the practice that John first worked for. And then you've got John and Mary Clegg. I think they may be related to the Clegg family of Oldham, but I've not really done that much research on them. Just down the bottom end of the cemetery we've got another chap. This chap was Mayor of Oldham. He was councillor of Werneth Ward when he was alive. His name was George Hanson, JP, Justice of the Peace. W&G Hanson was the name of his firm, and he was a cotton spinner. But he was also a man who was he was a great champion of good causes, a man of conscience apparently, a very, very nice man. And he spent his life working very hard, but also in the service of the people of the town. And I think it was 1889 he was voted in as the first councillor and then Mayor of Oldham. He was a member of the gas committee, and various other bits and pieces around town. Like I say, he was all about the good causes. Very nice man, lovely face as well. Interesting face, you'll see from the picture that I put in from him. But he lived on Werneth Hall Road. A lot of these people lived up that way. Werneth Hall Road and you know, Osborne Road, all around there. That was where all the big hitters would live. Werneth Park, obviously, for the likes of the Platts and the Radcliffes. But up this end, and certainly on this side, there's some really, really interesting graves. And literally, I know quite a lot, as you can imagine, about these people that are buried here, and I'd like to do another video further down the line. I meant to do a lot more Oldham mayors today, but I sort of got took off on a different tangent. But I hope you've liked the video that I've put up so far. I met two lovely ladies, I won't name them because of the privacy, but two lovely ladies who watched the channel today. It was lovely, lovely, lovely to meet them. And they are starting a YouTube channel, which is quite exciting. Again, I'm not going to name it now because it's in the early stages, but I'll be doing a collaboration with them once that's up and running, because it sounds very, very interesting and very worthwhile. So I'm going to jump in the Teague. I'm going to say goodbye to Chadderton Cemetery for today, Sunday, and get home and get this edited. I hope you like it, and I will see you soon.